Hi, this is Kevin Thomas, and welcome to the At Home Film Festival. It is Gay Pride Month, so for the rest of the month, we're going to salute gay films. And this week, we're going to start with a special episode, which I am calling Secret Society Cinema. Even in today's world, I could go certain places and be murdered just because I'm gay. I mean, they won't even allow Target to have gay-friendly, trans-friendly clothing, so why would it be different for me on the streets? But way, way back in the day, it was worse off than what we are experiencing now. So there's a whole bunch of movies that, because they weren't gay-themed, they didn't make a lot of gay-themed movies back in the day, that the gays found icons and cinema to support and love and sort of make them gay-adjacent films. A lot of these have flamboyant characters and or over-the-top acting or melodrama fun moments or great fashion. But whatever the case is, there is a whole bunch of movies that a gay person could watch with a straight person and they wouldn't know they were gay. It was like Secret Society. This all started really with Judy Garland here, as we see in The Wizard of Oz. There was sort of a group of people where it wasn't like a club or anything, but to find out if somebody was gay, they used to ask, "Are you a friend of Dorothy?" And that means, "Are you gay?" But back in the day, that really meant, like, do you like Judy Garland and other flamboyant actresses and singers and dancers, whatever. So let's take a look at 7 movies that the gays have flocked to and love. And maybe at the end, we'll discuss why these movies are so important to gay filmgoers. But let's start now. We all know The Wizard of Oz, so let's move on with others, okay? By the way, a lot of these movies can be found on Turner Classic Movies or the Criterion Channel this month. They came up with all these gay-friendly, with all these icons we love, and they mixed it in with real gay movies. So yes, we know Judy from The Wizard of Oz, and I'm going to do another Judy that we all know, but the forgotten movie that I love for Judy is called The Clock. It's super romantic and lush, and I think this is one of her first adult films. I mean, films as an adult. Don't think Judy's doing porn. Anyway, I really love The Clock. It's not a big hit for today's audience, and so you should seek this one out. But the other Judy movie that the gays really, really love is her version of A Star is Born. There's been many A Star is Borns. We had Janet Gaynor in the 30s. We had Judy in the 50s. We had Barbra Streisand in the 70s. And we had Lady Gaga in the 2000s. They were all gay icons, so they were all loved. I think, though, this is the best of all the Star is Borns. It wasn't a hit at the time. It did get Judy an Oscar nomination. And quite frankly, most people think she should have won. I think she did, too. But it's a bravura performance. It has several great songs. Judy is at the top of her form. She reminds audiences why she's a great actress, not only singer. And unfortunately, she died at age 47, so we never got to see tons and tons of movies from her. Actually, we did, because they worked her like a dog when she was a child. She made several movies a year. But anyway, if you're going to be in the mood to watch A Star is Born's, there's so many of them. This is on Criterion and TCM. And I also think it's on oops, I don't call it HBO. I think it's on Max now as well, so catch it, okay? Also from the same year as The Wizard of Oz was The Women, which you could find on TCM on June 23rd. Very interesting tidbit about this movie that is so over the top with women who are catty and love jungle red nail polish is the film's director, George Cukor, was also directing Gone with the Wind, where we got fired and replaced. But almost every woman who wanted to play Scarlett O'Hara, one of the most coveted roles of all time, ended up in The Women. So we have the greatest cast in this too. We have Norma Shearer, we have Joan Crawford, we have Rosalind Russell. This movie is so good. No men are in it, but it's very, very good. Watch it June 23rd on TCM. Not to make this a mini Joan Crawford Film Festival, but also on TCM is Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Now, everybody knows this classic film. And actually, this is different for Joan Crawford, because in The Women, she played a bitch. This, she's the poor victim by her sister, Bette Davis, who was up for an Oscar. Now, the fun behind-the-scenes story about this is they hated each other, and I'm sure Bette loved doing that kicking scene. That even became a series called Joan versus Bette, The Feud, or something close to that title. And they were going to do another movie together, Hush, Hush, Sweet Charlotte, but they ended up replacing Joan because she didn't like working with them. She got sick but never came back. But this movie is really terrific. It's super campy and over the top, and this actually led to a lot of old actresses. I find that they're old. I think they're in their 40s or 50s here. In today's world, that's young. But a lot of actresses who were considered washed up in the 60s ended up getting a revived career because of this movie. They all ended up making these movies with these older women in imperiling situations. This is super cherished and loved by the gay community because it's over the top and very funny. In fact, let's just take a quick listen to this scene that everybody remembers, okay?
I'm still in this chair. After all those years, I'm still in this chair. Doesn't that give you some kind of responsibility? Jane, I'm just trying to explain to you how things really are. You wouldn't be able to do these awful things to me if I weren't still in this chair.
Here we go. Here we go. Gays know this. Gay 101, here we go. In that chair.
And tell me, what are these awful things I'm supposed to be doing to you?
See, gays all knew that line. We have said it for decades. Because you are in that chair, you are. Classic. Bette Davis popped up in yet another movie that the gays love, All About Eve, which came out actually before Baby Jane, 1950. It has a record 14 Oscar nominations, tied for the most of all time. That's very impressive, especially from 1950, when they've added so many categories over the years. This actually is a big, big hit for Bette. She's, of course, over the top. She plays a cigarette-smoking actress, but everyone thought she's going to win the Oscar, just like they even thought a little bit for whatever happened to Baby Jane, and she lost both those Oscars. But this movie is just so terrific. It's very acid tongue humor. It's sophisticated. Even has a small part by Marilyn Monroe. We'll talk a little bit about more her later. And it's got, of course, winning moments that we all remember. Let's take a look at one. Oh, look, there's a little Marilyn Monroe. Oh, there's Eve. It's all about Eve, isn't it?
You see that man? That's Max Fabian, the producer. Now go and do yourself some good.
Why do they always look like unhappy rabbits?
Because that's what they are. And go and make him happy.
The general atmosphere is very Macbethish. What has or is about to happen?
What is he talking about?
Macbeth.
We know you. We've seen you like this before. Is it over or is it just beginning? Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night. Please.
Oddly, Betty's big competition for Best Actress 1950 is also a gay iconic film. Sunset Boulevard even became a musical. That's how much we love this movie. Gloria Swanson is magnificent. You can watch this June 13th on TCM or right now on Paramount Plus. Oh, she plays a great has-been actress who kind of enlists the aid of sort of a male hustler as a writer. Great film. Those gays of the 1950s got to enjoy a lot of movies that no one knows were gay. Except for us, of course. Speaking of gay icons, tons of them are on TCM, including Marilyn Monroe. So many of her wonderful, wonderful films are there. We have Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, Bus Stop, where I think she should have been up for an Oscar. Don't Bother to Knock, a very dramatic role. The only one real, oh my God, this one, 7 years. The only one really missing is Some Like It Hot, but that's on Max. So get TCM for Marilyn, but what movie should we really talk about just from her? What shall it be? Let's look. I think the one standout movie you should watch on TCM this month is The 7-Year Itch. I find this to be really the first movie that Marilyn carried as lead. She always co-starred with somebody else more ensemble, but was a standout. But this time it's really her picture. And I think this led to her having so many other great big roles. And it has one of her most famous scenes.
Tell me, Dazzle-Dent toothpaste. It's funny, I don't think I ever tried it.
You should. It's excellent toothpaste.
Is it?
Oh, yes, I use it myself.
Well, then you do recommend it. I mean, off the record, between friends.
Definitely. It costs only a few pennies more than ordinary toothpaste, but a recent survey shows that 8 out of 10 oral hygienists...
Now you sound like a commercial again. If I believed every commercial I heard.
You can believe this one. Every word of it.
What's that you say on the program? He'll never know because I stay kissing sweet the new Dazzle-Dent way. Now, really.
It's true. I'll prove it to you.
And before I do our final film, I want to just pay quick tribute, because I didn't have enough time to do all these different movies, to two other great actresses that the gays admire and love that are both celebrated this month on TCM, among other channels. We have Elizabeth Taylor, who's brought us so many classics. We see some of them here. And she even brought us a good share of bad movies where she overacted, which we loved as well. I'm a big fan of Elizabeth Taylor. Many of these titles are on TCM, so check them out. Some of her other great films, like A Place in the Sun, that happens to be on Paramount Plus this month. And Cat on Hot Tin Roof, I think, is on Max this month. But anyway, this is a good month to put in your search engines Elizabeth Taylor movies, and you will find so many great classics and a couple of bad ones. Then we have Lana Turner, who has brought us many great dramatic movies that are over the top, the bad and the beautiful, among others. Two of her best and favorites are going to be on TCM this month. So celebrating our Secret Society film. On June 25th, you could see Imitation of Life, and then on June 28th is The Postman Always Rings Twice, probably her biggest classic. But her life story behind the scenes is just as dramatic as on the scene. She was involved with a murder with her daughter. Oh, you gotta look that up. But let's just take a look at Imitation of Life, shall we? June 25th will be a fun day on TCM because we have Lana Turner's Imitation of Life. Now, this movie is a remake from a 1930s film that I like better in many ways. That one has Claudette Colbert. But it's about a privileged actress who has a daughter who she takes in, a black housekeeper, because the lady needed a job and she needed help. But the housekeeper's daughter passes for white and doesn't like being black. Oh, that is a whole drama on its own. Put in the hands of the Lana Turner factory, and this becomes a super melodrama with great big music, thrills and chills, and oh, the costumes, the sets, the shocking for the 50s and 30s. Gotta watch this. I promise it will be fun. And you could be gay per se. Our last movie is saving the best for last. Valley of the Dolls from 1967. First, it was a trashy novel. Then it became a movie about Hollywood and behind the scenes and drugs and scandal with Patty Duke in her first adult role, and she was only 20. Oh my God, it has Sharon Tate. It's got Barbara Parkins. It's got the beautiful people. And it has been parodied so many times, and people just love this over-the-top movie. And interesting, Susan Hayward is the big star in it, and she was actually a replacement for Judy Garland, who actually sang the songs and then started filming, but Judy's health wasn't so good because of her drug addiction, and she got fired. But anyway, I'm going to show you other reasons why I love Valley of the Dolls and why gays love it too. First reason is it is so overacted. We love this. When I was a young kid watching this movie, and don't ask me why in the early 70s or late 60s when I'm watching this movie, that my mother allowed me to, because this was considered an adult film. But this scene in particular, I thought Patty Duke gave an Oscar-worthy performance as when I was a child. But screaming loud does not make you a good actress. It really doesn't. But you judge for yourself.
Where are you? Jennifer.
Oh!
Mel.
Oh, Kevin, Home Alone.
Oh, God. God.
Now she's got to yell loud for God to hear her, right?
Neely
Oh.
Ah, Neely.
Okay, I gotta be done. Well, that's our show of the week. Hope you enjoyed. What secret society film do you think I missed that I should have talked more about or talked about at all? Let me know in comments below. And actually, I think there's a lot of these movies that we like as gays that really aren't gay is because the actresses, of course, have relationships with men, which gay men want to do. The costumes are great. We have a sense of fashion. I mean, ask our drag queens. And a lot of times, I think they're feeling things that we feel. The only trouble is, in these older movies, they're feeling them as a straight person. But in any event, we love our over-the-top, beautiful icons and their movies and the overacting and trashiness of it and the melodrama. That all makes for a great time at the movies. So as we depart, I'm going to do one more little scene from Valley of the Dolls. So here's Susan Hayward in a Broadway musical. Why would they do that mobile in a Broadway musical? It's beyond me. But some clever YouTuber actually dubbed in the Judy Garland voice for this song, so I thought that'd be fun to end with. Susan Hayward didn't sing either. She was sung by Margaret Whiting, but since Judy had recorded it, and I've always wanted to hear Judy's version, this is a great way to do it. So let's take a listen, okay?
Come tomorrow, all that I see is my tree. Oh Lord, what a sight. Let someone stop me, and I will put up a fight. It's my yard, so I will try hard to work my life. If not, I'm afraid my own tree, and I make it grow.
Good, Judy!